Okay, in this video we're going to explore some of the built-in types that Ruby has available to you. And so since I'm not going to do anything with those types, I'm just going to use the interactive Ruby mechanism to explore those types. And I'm just going to show some examples. So the first one is a string type. I'm going to just assign these to say variables to help remember what they are. So let's do some string, and we can see that works. I just wanted to show you that strings that are double quoted have what are called interpolation. So we can create another string, and then if we do this hash squiggly right here, what that means is run some Ruby code and put the result of that Ruby code back in the string. So I'll just run s, and the result of that will be the value of s, and we can see that what O will get is stuff around and then the contents of s, some string, and then back to completely. And so this is a way that you can use variables within other string variables and so forth. So first type are strings. The next type would be some form of numbers, and Ruby is very flexible on its number types. You can have integer types, we can have floating point types, we can even have very big numbers. Let's do a Google here. So 10 with 100 zeros after that, no problem. It can handle that very easily. So numbers are a second type, and these shouldn't be a surprise. The next type that we're going to look at is an array, which might be similar to a Python list. And we create one of those with the square brackets. So I'll just make a list of 1, 2, 3, or I could do something like make it a list of strings are nice. True. Gotta make it strings here. And that's fine, and we can make our arrays and so forth. Another data type that's available to us is what Ruby and languages like Perl call hashes. Python would call it a dictionary. Some other languages might call it an associative array. The big idea here is that rather than going sequentially through arrays, array element 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, we look up our elements in our hash by some sort of key, usually some sort of stringy value. So maybe you do a key, and then this is the value that would be looked up for it. Notice that instead of using a square bracket like we did with A and B, we use a squiggle right here, and we separate the key and value with this kind of arrow value sequence. And the keys do not have to be strings, they're not limited to that, so we can have numbers, and you could have a non-value, I suppose, if you put nil. You can't do this where you just say B, because it always expects to have something, so we'll put nil. That's the non-value in Ruby. And you can see that Ruby has kept those values. So the keys can be whatever you want and whatever you want. So if we then want to look up, now this could be confusing, A sub 0 is going to give us 1, B sub 0 is going to give us strings, H sub key. So when you're accessing them, they look the same. They look like an array or a hash by syntax look the same. You just have to know that you're accessing them because they're a hash versus accessing them as an array. And so you need to make sure that you know what you're doing, because you access them differently, but the syntax is the same. The final type that I want to cover are fairly unique in the languages I've mentioned already. And that is a data type called a range. So let's call it R, and this is 1 through 10. And so a range is really nice because it can represent a big number. You can do something like each. We can iterate through it and print out its value. And we see that. And it's nice because the range could be quite large, and you don't have to store all the values in that range. You only have to store the beginning and the ending point. There's a similar but slightly different range operator with 3 dots rather than 2 dots, and I can show you the difference by doing the same sort of function here, but we see that the output does not include the 9. And so whereas the 1 dot dot is an inclusive range, 1 dot 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 is an exclusive range on the upper end. And so to review then, we have strings, we have numbers, we have arrays, we have hashes, and we have ranges. And these are the built-in data types that Ruby already has for you.